Okay, I'm just going to start the recording so that anybody who wants to join later or has to watch the replay. I know a couple of people said they wouldn't be able to join live, so they wanted to see the recording. Okay, so, and yes, if you guys have any, if this discussion spurs any questions, feel free to chime in. Okay, so today, I know I sent out the mass email that said no more pet sitting, no more doggy daycare at Baker's. Don't! Steve, stop. Gwen, don't. I can't look at you. I can't look at you. So I sent out the email. It is a very hard decision that we had to come to. And yes, Eric is bugging me to see if we can still do it. But he's not the one that's in charge. So anyway, I might regret my decision. We'll see later. But anyway, so today I wanted to hone in on this topic of, okay, you have had somebody that you trusted, or you just got a new puppy or whatever, and or you adopted a dog and you're like, oh my gosh, now I need to find a veterinarian. Now I need to find a groomer. Now I need to find a pet sitter. Now I need to find a dog trainer. Well, how do you find those people, and how do you protect yourself and your dog from having a bad experience? So I'm going to go through the checklist of what you should do of how to find someone like that. You guys who have hired me as your trainer, you already have kind of done your homework, I hope. Either that or you just called the first person on your list and you loved me anyway. So you're like, oh, we'll just sign it with Sarah. But number one, and you guys can take notes if you'd like to, but this is recorded, so you can go back and watch it anytime. Number one, go to whatever search engine you want to look for, or even the white pages or yellow pages if it's still there, and go to their website. Visit their website. If it looks like a third grader did it, and it's poor grammar, poor spelling, that's number one red flag. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a great person or somebody like that, or a great facility that has a terrible website. Maybe they just threw something together really quick and that's all they could afford. That's fine. But if they're not investing back into their business, like say for instance, they've been in business for the last 3 to 5 years, and they haven't invested the time and effort to spruce up the things and actually spell check their website and make things look better, there's something wrong there, right? So it doesn't have to be a fantastic website or anything like that, but just, I'm a stickler for that kind of thing. If I go and visit the company's website and it looks like trash, I'm probably not going to call them and say, hey, I want you to do this service for me, right? Okay, that's just me. I'm a little opinionated when it comes to that. Number two, read their reviews. So what if they don't have a website? That's fine. Okay, maybe it's just a pet sitter, or maybe it's a groomer that they just haven't invested in a website yet and they just started up. There's a lot of people just starting up right now because there's a huge demand for groomers. There's a huge demand for pet sitters right now, including trainers and veterinarians. So if they're just starting out and they don't have a website and everything, please just go to their Google page or their Facebook page and see if they have any reviews or any testimonials up yet. If they're so brand new that they don't have any of those things up, tread carefully. Okay. Sure, they could say in their little bio that they've been working with animals for the last 10 to 15 years. Well, sure, that might have been when they were a kid. Okay. Just because you were born and raised around animals doesn't necessarily mean you know how to work with them. Okay. What kind of experience outside of your own family, your own dogs do you have? Did you volunteer at the shelter? Did you volunteer as a dog walker? What kind of other experiences have you had? The most important thing I have ever, that this is the one thing that makes or breaks whether you should move forward with this person or not. Number three, request an in-person meet and greet. Okay. So meet with that person one-on-one, preferably wherever your dog is going to be staying or wherever your dog is going to be. So let's say if it's a veterinarian, you go into their facility. I know right now with COVID, I'm not sure if they're opening back up yet or not, but I would like to see the inside. So if they won't let you in person, that's fine. Say, okay, great. Get this out, do a FaceTime call and walk me around your facility. Show me what it looks like right now. I don't want you to have time to go and clean it up, right? I want you to go grab your cell phone, do a FaceTime call, walk me around and show me your place. Okay. So if they're like, oh, it's COVID procedure, great. You don't have to go inside. You can show me on your video call. Okay. If you're looking for a groomer, let's say that it's a mobile groomer. Awesome. Have them come to your house, pull up in front of your house. You go in the trailer or the truck or whatever it is, and you go and see what type of equipment do they have. Does it look professional? Does it, turn it on, have them turn the blowers on and that kind of thing. Is it really loud? Okay. If the blowers are really loud, do they have little ear muffs for the dogs? Yes, that's a thing. There are safety concerns that they need to take into consideration. What kind of blades do they use? If it's a groomer, what kind of shears and stuff like that are they using? Is it plastic? Is it metal? What kind of brushes and stuff like that are they using? You need to know your dog's coat and your dog's their grooming standards. If you notice anything that this groomer doesn't have or doesn't have experience with this type of coat or standard of care for your dog, red flag. Okay. How about a pet sitter? Well, you can choose to have, I'm talking like a rover pet sitter, somebody that you can go on and find one. With pet sitters, you can choose to either send your dog to their house or you can choose to hire a pet sitter to come into your home. There are pros and cons to both. Obviously, you have to be comfortable with somebody coming into your home and giving them the key to your house and stuff like that. Or, a code, if you have one of those little code things on your door. But if either situation, always request that in-person meet and greet, preferably at the place that your dog is going to be in and receive that service. So if the pet sitters come into your home, see how your dog feels about that person coming into your house. Okay. Is your dog comfortable with that person being in their home? Listen to your dog. Don't reprimand your dog for barking at them. Don't reprimand your dog for growling or jumping up on them. Okay. I want to see the true attitude that your dog has towards this person that's coming into your home. This is a person that you're hiring to come in and take care of your dog. We need to make sure that dog feels comfortable there. If your dog is happy to see them and jumping all over them and, hi, how's it going? And just acting like a ding dong, now you can say, hey, behavior, let's work on that, right? But if your dog is nervous around them, okay, in particular, both of you guys, actually, Amber, your dog, and Steve and Gwen, your dog, you guys have dogs that are more on the reserved side. They don't really care for strangers, especially coming into their home, right? So we want to make sure that your dogs feel comfortable coming in, or that your dogs feel comfortable with them coming into the house. Okay. And if your dogs don't feel comfortable, guess what? They don't come into the house. You stand on the front porch and you interview them. Okay. And then if it's just, and if either one of your dogs just really doesn't care for that person, then say, okay, I don't think it's going to work out. Thank you. Thanks for your time. If you go to their facility or you go to their home, maybe it's a pet sitter that does it out of their home, like me. So go to their house, request that meet and greet, and request to see where your dog will be crated. And yes, if the pet sitter says that they allow the dogs to roam the house freely, no. This is my reason why. Okay. If a pet sitter has an open concept where they're like, oh yeah, the dogs are allowed to go wherever and whenever they want. Okay. They can come in, maybe they have a doggy door. The dogs are going in and out all the time and they're jumping up on the furniture and sleeping in bed. If that's what you do at home, great. That's awesome. But in a pet sitter's home, especially if they take multiple dogs at a time, or they have their own dog, this is a big no-no. You do not want to have multiple dogs from different households commingling all of the time, in and out whenever they please. You will have problems. Okay. Behavioral problems, yes. Fights, most certainly. And a lot of issues that will crop up, and your dog will come back home and all of that training that you invested in is poof, bye-bye. Okay. So when you go into their place, when you go into the pet sitter's home, what are their standards? And not just a pet sitter, groomer, veterinarian, trainer, everything. Is the place clean? Is it noisy? Are the dogs there behaved or going bonkers? Smell. I want you to smell it. Okay. Does it smell like they recently cleaned because they knew that you were coming over? Then that's probably a red flag. Like if you can still smell the cleaning fumes, probably a red flag. Okay. But if it's clean and it doesn't stink, but you don't smell the cleaning materials, awesome. That means that they do a regular cleaning on a regular basis, multiple times a day. Okay. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to bring up from that? Oh, how does your dog feel while he's there? While he or she is there? When you go to that pet sitter's home or that pet sitter's facility or the groomer or the vet's office, how do they feel going in? Are they nervous? Are they worried? It's a strange place. So you have to take that into consideration. If your dog is naturally nervous about new places, okay, but take that into consideration, but also think, okay, your dog's behavior should subside, should get better within about 5 minutes of being there. Because within 5 minutes, you'll be able to tell if your dog is still freaked out or if they realize that, okay, mom and dad are here. I'm fine. Nothing's attacked me yet. I'll be good. Okay. So if your dog is still nervous after 5 minutes of being there, red flag. It's all right. Move on. Find another place. Okay. And by the way, most places should do like a free meet and greet. Okay. This is their chance to win you over. This is their chance you're basically essentially interviewing them, asking them questions, getting to know them. Don't just talk dog stuff with them. Get to know them on a personal basis. What is it that they love doing? What is their personality like? Okay. If you don't get along with your sitter, your groomer, your veterinarian, your trainer, don't hire them. You're not going to have a good relationship. You're not going to want to do what they ask you to do. Yes, even a groomer is going to have you do some stuff like, hey, you need to go and trim your dog's nails regularly. Hey, you need to brush your dog out in between groomings. Okay. Or your pet sitter is going to be like, hey, just so you know, your dog needs a little bit of extra crate training or something like that. So you need to be able to have that personality mesh so that when they give you instruction, you take them seriously and you're like, yep. Okay, got it. I'm going to go do that. Okay. If you don't like that person, you're not going to do it. Okay. You guys like me, right?
We do everything you tell us to do.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Moving on. I think I'm on number 4. Well, 3 and 4 were kind of similar. They're doing the in-person meet and greet plus visiting the facility. So 3 and 4. So I guess I'm on number 5. Number 5, give it a trial run. If it's a pet sitter that offers like a daycare rate, see if you can, if you feel good about them and it's great rapport, your dog likes them and that kind of stuff, give it a trial shot and do like a daycare thing, or see if they'll do like a behavior assessment trial day or something like that, where your dog can stay for just the day, not overnight. And if it's a groomer, same thing. Hey, I just want a bath and blow dry and nails done. Don't do a full groom. Okay. So just a bath, blow dry, and nails, and see how your dog feels, huge thing for groomers. It's very difficult to find them, but this is my number one thing with groomers. If they do one dog start to finish at a time. I don't want my dog to go in, sit in the kennel for another hour or 2 while they're finishing up another dog. Okay. And I don't want my dog to stand on the table for hours in between. And I also don't want my dog to, after the bath, I don't want my dog to go sit in a kennel with a fan blowing on them for another hour while they finish up another dog. Okay. So I get it from a business standpoint. It makes more sense to do as many dogs as you can. And so you shuffle dogs from one station to the next. Now, if they have multiple groomers, that's great. Okay. Because hopefully, double check, ask them this. Hopefully with a groomer, they start with one dog and finish it. It should not, even with a doodle, okay? Spooky. She takes roughly 2 hours from start to finish. This should not be an all-day thing. Okay? I shouldn't have to drop my dog off at 9 o'clock in the morning and not be able to pick her up until 3 p.m. Okay? So if that's the only way that they do things, where they say, no, it is drop off and pick up at these hours, then say, okay, I'm going to find somebody else. Okay. In fact, in my opinion, I feel like the best ones out there are the mobile groomers, or the ones that do it from their back porch, something like that, as opposed to, like your big facility type groomers. So that's just my personal feelings on the matter. I want my dog to only be there as long as it's going to take for the actual groom for that dog. Okay. Chico, it should only take him 10 minutes. Okay. Bandit, maybe an hour, because he's a double coated dog. And it's a lot of brushing to get all that nasty undercoat out. With Spooky, obviously. And it really depends on the cut too. Okay. So if you have a doodle that requires, you want the teddy bear look or something like that, then yeah, you're going to have to compensate for the time that does that. Where with Spooky, I want a puppy cut. It's easy to take care of and I don't have to worry about it too much. And it takes about 2 hours. That is the bath, the blow dry, the nails, anal glands, and the cut. 2 hours. Okay. So if it takes longer than that, maybe they're still learning as a groomer. That's fine. But again, I don't want my dog sitting in a kennel bay waiting for their turn to finish up. Okay. I'll move on from that. Okay. Yeah. So do the trial day. Do a trial day of daycare, a trial day of, maybe you guys are going on a date or something, or you're going up Salt Lake for a few hours. Hire a pet sitter to come in and take your dog for a walk and see how it goes. If you guys have like the Ring doorbell things, or if you have cameras set up, that'd be great so that you can pay attention to how things are going in the house. I especially highly recommend, if you do hire a sitter to come into your home, that you do have cameras. Okay. And then, trainers, obviously with me, If you're looking for a trainer, I offer the free consultation. Okay. So try doing that, little bit of experience with the person before you actually put down the deposit or pay for a full service. Get to know the clients or the patients of these people, of this vet or groomer or pet sitter. Okay. Request references. Okay. Ask them for if there's anybody that they can ask to or talk to. Reach out on Facebook too. Say, hey, I'm thinking about hiring this person. Tell me about your experience with them. Okay. But also get to know them, like what type of clientele are these people advertising for? If you don't match that trainer, groomer, or pet sitter or veterinarian's clientele, then you're probably not going to have a good relationship with them. Okay. So for example, I'm going to share my screen. I actually have a whole page on my website dedicated to, are we the right trainers for you? Okay. I want to know if we're going to work together, if we're going to mesh together before you even call me. Okay. So if a groomer, a pet sitter, or somebody like that has something like this on their website, or they have like in their profile, let's say that they're on Rover or something like that. If they have something like this that has like criteria, that's great. I want to get to know that person, and I want to know, am I the right client for them? Are they the right trainer for me? Okay. So I only want to work with people who are going to be working and doing their stuff that they say they're going to do. Okay. I want them dedicated to learning and training their dog. Okay. Not just, oh yeah, my dog needs to know how to sit and needs to know how to come. Here you go. He's got potty accidents. Please fix him. No, I can't do that. I can't fix your dog. Your dog is a living, breathing being. Okay. It's not a robot. It's not a computer. I can't fix it. Okay. So I need somebody that is going to be motivated to make the changes necessary in their lifestyle so that they can then see the behavior changes in their dog. Okay. And then obviously I have criteria for the dogs, and I have clients I don't work with very explicitly. This is who I will not work with. Okay. So just make sure that you find out, ask these people, ask these veterinarians, these groomers and the pet sitters, what kind of people do you work with? Who are your favorite clients to work with? And they'll give you, a range of personalities, and that's great. And then ask them if they've had any bad experiences, and what have they done with those experiences? How have they handled those experiences? Okay. Let's see. Okay. We talked about the service standards. Accolades or like certificates or anything like that aren't super important to me. But if they do have accolades or certifications or something like that, or they have letters after their name, that's usually an indication that they have been to a lot of schooling, education-wise, like academically, but they may or may not have a whole lot of experience. Okay. So if they have all those things, check into it and see what type of, what does that mean? What does that certification actually mean? Did they just attend a 3-hour online class? Or did they actually have to turn in like a project where they went down to the shelter, or they had to work with certain dogs for a certain amount of hours, and they had to report that in order to get that certification? Does that make sense? And what kind of accreditations do they have? Do they belong to any, I don't know, any, what do they call those things? Associations. Do they belong to any associations? Are they, pet sitters, especially. have they been through a first aid course? Okay. Have they been through a first aid course where they have put their hands on and been able to restrain a dog? Okay. Veterinarians too. Obviously veterinarians, we want to make sure that they've been through schooling. But I mean, a pet sitter, if your dog gets injured under their care, how competent are they? Are they able to step in and say, okay, I know what to do. Your dog is choking. Great. Let's do the Heimlich maneuver on the dog. Okay. Or let's say that your dog has a superficial cut or something like that. How do they know how to prevent infection? Okay. Does that pet sitter know when to call the veterinarian? And does the pet sitter have veterinarians that they work with? Okay. I have 2 veterinarians that I have very good rapport with. One of them is just down the street. It takes me less than 5 minutes to get to his place. The other one lives up in Provo. That's my personal vet. A little bit farther, but I have rapport with them. If you're a pet sitter and you don't have any clue about who the local veterinarians are, red flag. Okay. I want to know, okay, who is your list of veterinarians that you go to? Or even better yet, on the pet sitter, on the groomer, on the veterinarians, on the trainers intake form, the forms that you have to fill out, the questionnaires and the service agreements that you have to sign. Is there anything in those forms that asks you to provide emergency contact, veterinarian information, your dog's behavior traits, anything that they need to be aware of? What does your dog eat and how much to feed them? Okay. If these service providers don't ask those questions, how are they supposed to take care of your dog? Okay. So when an emergency does come up, and let's say you've left on a cruise, or you're out of the country on a trip and you've left your dog in the care of this person, do they have an emergency contact that they can call? Are they competent enough, and do they have the references to call the veterinarians around them and get in the door and get your dog taken care of? Okay, so super important. Let's see. I'm going to go through step by step a little example of what I've just talked about. Applying all of these things to find a pet sitter. Come on. Okay. So we're going to hop on Rover. For those of you who don't know, Rover is a pretty popular website for just to find pet sitters. Think of it like Angie's List, but for dog sitters. So boarding, house sitting, drop-in visits, doggy daycare, and dog walking. Unfortunately, they don't have training on here, but anyway. I do have a profile on Rover, but I am not very active on it anymore. I haven't needed to use it in like 3 or 4 years. I haven't had a client come through Rover in 3 or 4 years. Plus, I've priced myself outside of anything that people could probably afford. So anyway, let's say if we want boarding, you have a dog, boarding, and I live in Springville, so I'm going to put in my zip code, and then I need a pet sitter. Let's see if anybody's available over Thanksgiving. Okay. And then I have a small dog and 2, I don't know, my dogs aren't large, they're medium sized, but the poundage. So, and then it'll pop up a list of recommendations. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to refine it, because how many pets do you have? I have 3. Okay. For me, I don't care about the rate, but you can change the pricing to match your budget. Okay. I want a house. I do not want my dogs in an apartment going up and down the stairs, and potentially running into multiple dogs, whenever the pet sitter has to take the dog out to go to the bathroom. How many neighbors have dogs that may or may not be well behaved? Okay. So I prefer a house, and yes, the house has to have a fence. I don't care for either of those. I don't want my dogs picking up those habits, just for my own home. Okay. If your dogs are allowed up on the furniture, that is totally up to you. But for my own rules at my own house, I don't care about those. I do prefer non-smoking. Preferably doesn't own a cat, because I know my dogs. You can see if they only accept one client at a time, but that's going to be like shrinking down your results. Okay. Kids aren't a problem. Puppy care, I don't have a dog first aid and CPR. Okay. So let's see what we've got. Now, the two keys to look for. Okay, we might be hurting our chances here by saying Thanksgiving. I'm going to say the week before Thanksgiving. Okay, maybe, we'll see. The things that you want to look for are repeat clients and how many reviews. Okay, and yes, the price. Okay, so not to critique this lady too much, but she's charging $40 a night, but she only has one repeat client and only 3 reviews. Okay, so I'm curious as to how long she's been doing this type of stuff, right? So if it's somebody, if this guy said that he was charging $50 a night, I'd be fine with that. Okay, I'd be fine with that because, he's got repeat clients and multiple reviews. I'd have to read more into him to see what he's all about. But just so you know, this is how I'm looking for groomers and that kind of stuff. I wish Rover had groomers on here. They only have pet sitting and stuff like that. But don't just take their reviews. Some of them, one repeat client and one review, and it was a negative review. Okay. We won't read too much into that. Okay, this lady, she charges $60 a night. Here's $75 a night. Dippledale. Interesting. Okay. $80 a night. Wow. Only 4 reviews though. Okay. So these are just some interesting things that I would take a look at and determine whether this is a person that you want to even contact. Okay. Let's see if I can find, where's the person I was looking at earlier? Maybe they had a cat. I don't know. Yeah. Nope. Where is she at? I hope they don't smoke. Maybe they just don't say so on their profile. Okay, look at this one. 355 repeat clients, 805 reviews. Okay, she's been through the Rover 101 pet care thing, which I don't know, whatever. She's got a verified background check, $30 a night. So she might be somebody to look at. But then we say, okay, unspayed females accepted, neutered males only. Okay, so she's fine with taking care of females, but not males. So one that she might have some male dogs that don't get along with unneutered males, okay, which is not unusual. I have one of those. So you just look into this person and say, okay, what do they allow? Okay, so she can give oral medication. That's great. She's worked with special needs. She can give even injected medication if needed. She has a fence, but she does have cats. Non-smoking. Okay. The dogs are allowed on the bed. Okay, dogs allowed on the furniture. So what are her protocols? This is where I would ask and say, okay, are the dogs crated at any time? Do they sleep in their crates? So she's been a vet tech. That's why. Okay, so she can do all of this stuff as far as the taking care of the special needs because she's been a vet tech for 21 years. Okay. But I want to know if the dogs are at night when she's asleep, when she is not able to monitor the dog's behavior, are the dogs crated individually in their own separate crates? Okay. So she's got great reviews and everything like that, but still, I want to know that my dogs are safe and they're not causing trouble and they're not picking up bad habits while I'm gone. Okay. So anyway, that might be somebody you guys can look into. Crystal on Rover. So anyway, let's see. I think that's all as far as addressing those questions, how to choose the right trainer, vet, groomer, and pet sitter. Any questions, any follow-up questions to any of that, guys? Or have you thought of any questions that kind of like spurred on but are not related to this issue?
I have a grooming question. Groomer.
Yes, sir.
Question. Just finding what's the best way for us first dog, right? So how do we know what her coat's needs are so we know what to look for as far as are they using plastic or metal like you said,
Mm-hmm.
or, what we would want to look for in someone who can do our doodle?
Yes, sir. Well, and you have a Labradoodle and her coat is very wiry. Okay. So the best place to start, and I'm just going to do this for generic reasons so that everybody can have a chance to find this. The best place to start is akc.org. Okay. Even though most of us have mutts, the AKC has the largest database of information that you need for your dog. Okay. So what we're going to do is take a look at, let's see if they even have it in here. Nope, they don't have Labradoodle, but we can look at Labrador Retriever. Okay. And we're going to look at the mixes that she is. Okay. So we're going to both look at the Poodle and the Labrador. Okay. So regardless of whatever your dog's breed is, we're just going to use Millie as an example. And I can share my dogs too, but you want to take a look at their traits and let's see, there should be a full breed standard. Grooming. This is just talking about the conformation of the dog. Yeah. All right. I don't need that. I want to know the grooming. Physical. Shedding. Okay, here we go. Coat type. Well, that doesn't help. There should, so basically what you want to do is you want to look at, I don't know. I thought I was going to be able to find it, but, and just Google it. Okay. So with a mixed breed or with a designer breed, you want to make sure that you're addressing all of the breeds that are in that category. Okay. So what are the recommended grooming techniques for Labradors? What are the recommended grooming techniques or tools, brushes and stuff like that to use for a poodle? With my own dogs, Chico, I'm going to use a curry comb. So it's a rubber. So if you have a short-haired dog, I'll pull up Amazon. That'll probably be the easiest. I can pull up products here. Okay. So this is going to be something that you would use on a short coated, like a pit bull or something like that, that has very thin, like thin coat, short and thin coat. Okay. A Labrador, you're going to use you could use a Furminator. Okay. Furminator. Something like this. You don't have to use the brand Furminator.
There's a Dragon Valley Society thing.
Yeah, thank you. Or you can use a slicker brush, which most people know. Okay, most people use this. All right, of any variation of that type of a brush. Okay. Now for a poodle or a doodle or a double coated dog like an Australian Shepherd, you want to use a let's see, metal comb. Okay, don't use plastic, it'll break. It'll just get caught up in your dog's hair and it'll break and it'll be hard to get it out. Okay. Get a metal comb, and I prefer to get ones that have the two. Hey, shh. Get ones that have the two different sizes on the comb itself. Okay, so usually there's a finer tooth on one end and then the wider tooth on the other. Okay, so metal comb. And you can use for Millie, you can use both the slicker brush and the metal comb. I would start with the slicker brush. Start with the slicker brush and just kind of get all of the stuff that's on the top. And then after you have brushed her out thoroughly with the slicker brush, now take the metal comb, and now you're going to go deep into her coat and just make sure that there's no knots in it. Okay. Susan, the same thing with Dash and your new puppy. Okay, so even though Dash has a shorter coat, it's still a double coat. Okay, let's see, Amber with Lunar, she's just like Bandit. Okay, so she has a double coat as a border collie. So you want to have the slicker brush and the metal comb. One other thing only for double coated dogs. So Aussies, border collies, Huskies, German Shepherds, really thick coats like that. You want to use what's called oh goodness. I lost it. It was in my head and I lost it. Hey, Micah. Yeah. Can you go get my grooming box for me, please? Oh, glory gracious. What is it called? Dematting? Yes? Yes. Okay. Yeah, kind of. Not really. It's going to be more like this. Let's see if I can find some similar ones, because that is not the one that I have. Let me see. Thank you. And voila, this is mine. So if you have a double coated dog, Amber, this would be for Lunar. Susan, you could use it with Dash. But basically this is going to, see how it's kind of curved here? I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so this is what's going to get all of those mats out of your dog's coat. Millie, I don't think you'll need it just because of her wire coat. Okay. But this is what I use, especially right behind the ears, armpits, groin area, on the hips, on the shoulders, where most of your mats happen on your dog. Okay. So that is a dematting rake. This is a slicker brush.
I just have one quick question then.
Yes, go for it, Amber.
Lunar has issues with the whole grooming process. I say the word bath and she books it under my bed. She hates it.
Awesome.
And
bring that up at our next lesson.
She won't let me brush her either. Like I start to brush her and then she just flops on her side and then kicks her legs away from me.
Yep.
It's a big struggle. So.
Awesome. We're going to talk about that then.
Okay.
Okay. We will definitely address that because it's a necessary evil.
Right. I mean, it gets done anyways, but it's just a really big struggle.
Yep. So we'll do a couple of techniques on how to set it up so that you can more effectively and more efficiently brush her without her throwing a fit.
Okay. Yeah, and she's just throwing a little tantrum.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of it has to come down to the relationship. I'm going to hammer that word in there.
Okay.
And don't worry, Amber. Like this is a struggle that a lot of people have. Okay. Seriously. Yeah. Steve is like nodding his head. Yeah. Uh-huh. Susan, I'm sure the same thing is going on with Dash. Although Dash is pretty good about it. Did you have a comment, Steve?
I was just gonna say it's the same as our 10-year-old son who doesn't like to bathe. It's kind of they're little kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
We have to be fairly firm with her when it's time for that.
Yep, exactly. So and if that's a topic that you guys want me to go into detail for a Q&A Saturday, I'd be happy to go do that. Okay. So if grooming your own dog is a problem, let's do that for a Q&A Saturday. So I'll hop on Google Classroom and on Facebook and see how many people are interested in that topic. Okay. So I showed you the slicker brush and the dematting rake. This is the Chico brush, the short-haired dogs. This is a curry comb. This is the Kong brand. Okay, it's nice and easy to hold it in your hand, and you just kind of like scrub them. This also works on pretty much every dog. If you want to, actually, I love using this when I'm actually bathing the dog. Okay, so I squirt the soap or the shampoo on here, and then I just exfoliate their skin while I'm brushing. Okay, while I'm scrubbing and brushing their cleaning and bathing them. Okay, so and a lot of the dogs actually like it because it feels good. Again, it gives them a massage. So anyway, that one's good to have on hand.
Would that work on a long-haired dog, or would that just make it all matted?
No, it works when you are bathing them, not when you're just brushing them out. So you can use it in the bathtub.
Okay.
Yep. So squirt your soap on here and scrub it and get it in there so that it will literally pull out all of the dead hair. Okay. And it will also get the soap down into that coat, because that's why your dog stinks. Your dog stinks because of the undercoat.
Okay.
All right. So if you can use something like this to get the soap down in there, I mean, think of it like your own hair. Like if you just put the shampoo on the top layer of your hair and you rinsed it out, after, by the end of the day, your hair looks dirty again because it's not the top part that's dirty, it's underneath on your scalp. Okay. So when you are shampooing your own hair, you are doing what you do with this.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. And you can get something like this as well. This is a mitt. I just found this at Walmart. I don't even know what it's called, but basically you can also put the shampoo on this, and then it has a softer side too. Like if you have a dog like Chico, that doesn't hardly have any hair. So it has the soft side and then it has the scrubby side. So I like to use that for the bathing part. This is a really handy one. This is not for dogs. This is for people. It's called the Fur Remover Duo. I've had this for years, but it has a very fine teeth on one side and the wider teeth on the other. This is what I used when I clean myself off after I'm done grooming the dogs. So instead of using a lint roller and throwing away all that, every piece of tape or lint roller that off into the garbage, I just use this every single time. So I like it. It's pretty handy to have. That's basically it for brushes. Oh, there's my comb. I have my comb, and then I have a couple different sizes of nail clippers. And styptic powder, super important. So if you do nick your dog, you can also, if you don't have any styptic powder handy, cornstarch works just fine. Okay. When you're looking for clippers, nail clippers, it's just like your own nail clippers. If they're dull, they do a crappy job and it hurts. Okay. So they need to be sharp. If you've had your clippers for a few years or they are just a cheap nail clipper, throw them away. Get it seriously. Spend about $10 to $20 on a good pair of clippers. Your dog will thank you. Okay. That's why a lot of dogs actually hate getting their nails done, is because they have the wrong clippers. Because instead of actually just cutting a nice clean cut, it is literally pinching their toenail when you're cutting. Okay. So make sure you get the good clippers. I think that's about it. This kind of transitioned into a grooming Q&A. It is nice to have a good pair of scissors on hand. So even if you have a dog like Lunar, the Border Collie or an Aussie or something like that, that doesn't necessarily need to get like groomed as far as like trimming and stuff like that. You need to have a good pair of scissors or shears so that if you do end up having a mat in your dog's fur, it's easy to cut it out. Okay. You don't want to be sitting there trying to comb it out, because that's going to hurt. And the dog is going to hate you even more for trying to groom them. Okay. So get a nice pair of cutting shears and just cut out that mat that's either behind the ears or wherever you find it, and just cut it out, and then get your slicker brush and just brush it out. Okay. I think that's it as far as my grooming tools go. Any questions, any follow-ups to that? We're almost to 10 o'clock, so I'll probably wrap up. Awesome. Okay. Well, so good luck finding pet sitters. If you would like me to help you vet them, look up somebody that you like, send me their information. I'm happy to do some background check, looking into them and see give you my 2 cents on the matter and say, yes, I would consider sending my dogs to them. Okay. And that's basically everybody on the list that I emailed out. I would feel comfortable referring my own dogs to them. Okay. So everybody that list of people that I sent to you, I do my own personal feelings on the matter. I do prefer a house sitter to come in. So that's my first preference, is a house sitter that comes here. Just because I know that Bandit will get stressed out if he's at someplace else, and it's just not helpful for him. Spooky's fine. Chico's fine. They'll have fun wherever they go. But I know Bandit's personality, and he would do much better if he was home. And so I'm going to, my number one choice would be to find a pet sitter that comes to the house and will check on them at least 4 to 5 times a day. Okay. And if a pet sitter doesn't have that much time to come back and forth to my house 4 to 5 times a day, then you might need to hire 2 or 3 sitters. Okay. You have questions, Steve?
Yeah, do the 2 that you recommended, they're in Springville. We're up in Saratoga.
Yeah.
Would they go that's probably too far.
There should be, scroll down to the bottom. Did I put any Rover people on there?
I don't see anything labeled as Rover.
Okay, hold on, let me see.
What about this cute little girl named Micah? Is she available?
She would be available after she gets her driver's license.
Okay, but I've got Rover pulled up. We've got a few.
Here, I have some. Here, I'm gonna post in the chat these. I just recently updated my list. I'm gonna put in the chat here. I hope those links come through. Yeah, okay. There should be 3 Rover people on there. Kira, Lindsay, Cassidy, and Jordan. And they should have their direct Rover profile links in there. So Amanda, some of you guys have met her. She just lives down the street. And she does not do drop-in visits. She won't come to your house. But she does in-home boarding at her place, just like I did. Brooklyn is an in-home, like she will go drop-in visits. She cannot have dogs at her place because she's renting. But I don't know what Brooklyn's travel distance is. I'm not sure. But Brooklyn will also she will also house sit for you. So if you have house plants, or if you have little pets that need to be cared for, or if you want somebody to pick up your mail, she will literally stay at your house and sleep there. If you're okay.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn will do that. Yep. Yeah, Brooklyn will do that. And she's my number 1 go-to person for pet sitting. Kira, Lindsay, and Cassidy on Rover, I have yet to actually meet them in person. But I was very impressed with their profiles and their resumes on Rover. And then the boarding kennels, Canine Connection, and Rickmar. Rickmar I do love, but I don't know if they're taking new clients. And then Canine Connection is very noisy. That's the only downside to them. But so it's a boarding kennel. It is what it is. You know, they can't necessarily run a tight ship of quiet, easy, chill atmosphere. But they are very clean. I know the owner, Andrew, he's a good friend. So anyway.
What about Dogworks? Are they an actual kennel, or is that somebody's home? Or?
So Dogworks is interesting. I am not sure how they advertise boarding. I actually removed them from my list because I wasn't sure. I've been to their facility. It is it's more of a fitness center for dogs. So like they have a pool and they have obstacle courses and they have like treadmills and stuff like that. They advertise that they do boarding, but they, like, when I went to go visit their place, they had no kennel room. So
good to know.
I'm not sure. I don't know if they just do it from their home, but I don't know. So I removed them from my list until I know. But Canine Connection and Rickmar, I've been to both of their places, and I'm very, other than the noisiness at Canine Connection, I'm very impressed with how they operate their stuff. And then the pet hospitals, any of the veterinary hospitals are fine. It's just going to be a boarding situation though. And your dog is probably only going to get let out once or twice. So it is what it is. But yeah, Brooklyn's my number 1 choice on that. So, okay. Did that answer your question? I forgot what your question was. What
is there another
wild tangent?
For Brooklyn, it's just the phone number to reach her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you can text her and call her, and just tell her I sent you. She'll know. Yep. I think that's it. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
I don't think so from us.
Well, when's your next dog walk?
Pack walk?
Park
Yeah.
walk? Yeah.
Pack walk is, thank you for reminding me that. I was actually going to advertise that. It will be on the 6th. Nope, just kidding. The 13th. Yep. So the second Saturday, every second Saturday is pack walk. Every fourth Saturday is Q&A. And yes, I will even do them in December. So there will be a pack walk on December 11th. There will not be a Q&A that month because we will be out of town. Day. Yeah, right. We will be out of town on the 18th, and we'll also be in Arizona for Christmas. So no Q&A. But there will be pack walk starting in January on the 8th, and then Q&A on the 22nd. Okay. Awesome. But thank you for reminding me that. Yep. Pack walk is next month on the second Saturday. Okay. Thank you guys. Susan, Amber, Steve, and Gwen, thanks for joining. I will put this recording up on Facebook and on Google Classroom so you guys can go back and watch it. Actually, I'll probably put this up. If you guys are okay with it, I didn't ask permission, but let me know if it's okay. I will probably just put this up on YouTube. Is that okay? I don't think there's anything like sensitive information shared or anything like that. If you have any qualms about that, you can let me know. Just say no. Okay. Awesome. I'll just post it up there. I don't think this is Q&As are more like, hey, what would you do in this situation? So it's not like I don't need to worry about sharing something that's controversial. So anyway, I'll just post this on YouTube. That way everybody can see it. Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
And if I don't see you or hear from you before, happy Halloween.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Susan. Bye, Amber.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.